YouTube, Damo_23 here, and welcome back to another episode of Paris 13 Atletico, where we look to do it better than PSG. And in today's episode, we have the Season 10 scouting session slash, what the plan is with the squad, and we're going to go through the end of season review, and then quickly have a talk about the squad, and maybe very similar to Season 9, actually not look to do too much with the squad itself because we've assembled quite a good young squad for numerous scouting videos before the start of a season. I'm not big on doing January transfers unless they're right. So let's get into it. Let you know who we've already signed as well, because we've already signed one player and he's a big name player. And then from there, see what we really need in the squad to make it a bit better to go and fight with PSG again for the title. And that's where we're going to start as we go with the new arrivals. It wasn't too many. It was forced. As you can see, the biggest probably transfer bit of business that we did was unfortunately having the out of S10 for 31 mil to Spurs this year. Played 11 times at a 6.59, so things haven't gone particularly well over there for the man, the myth, the legend that is Isaias. In saying that, still probably worth in and around that 30 to 40 mil, where you get 50% of what he sells on for, so very happy with that. We backed that up by signing Tosin, who's an experienced centre-back who's at a leading level here in France, even though he's a bit on the older side. And Timothy was the best of the rest right-backs in the league, and were able to pick him up because he was at S10 for only 9.5 mil. Ferland Mendy on a free as well, and obviously I think the signing of the season has definitely been Maxime Chevalier. One of the things we did in last year's scouting episode, and the episode that started season 9, was we looked for all-class talent, couldn't lure or attract it, so we decided to sign a young French talent, 18 years of younger, that can come in and become homegrown, because we do have an issue with that in the Champions League, as we do not have or get good intakes just yet. In saying that, though, we brought this guy in, and he's getting to a spot now where I think this guy's a wonder kid. He's going to be pushing first-team football and pushing Dosu to start in the coming season or two. With that being said, though, it has been good for business. In terms of the league title, or the league table or slash title, 2 points off PSG. If we did win our second to last game of the season and then obviously beat Lorient like we did, we would have lost on goal difference. So I'm happy that the title was done before the final day in a sense. Big difference here. The amount of draws, that is correct. I will recap that we do have the best defence in the league. Check if we held on. I think we did. We had a world record breaking season for Kim, and we get to that as well. If you want to see any of these screens, feel free to pause. But competition awards, not there. Most clean sheets by a player in a season, 26 set by Kim, and that's record breaking for the club. But Kim, and I know it was highlighted in last season, in the last game of the season, 20 was the record set by Donnarumma in 2022-23 in-game, as well as the record, I think, in France, that would be in real life, or be close. He's got 21, keeping 2 clean sheets in the last 2 games of the season, to play 32 matches out of the 34 and keep 21 clean sheets, only concede 13 goals. This is the reason why we have not signed another keeper, because he's very good. Now, with that being said, we've had a bit of a win. Obviously, we won the cup again. We went back-to-back as well. Melbourne should be part of the international team as well. Paris Best 11, where are they now? Players inducted. People may want to pause because we're 9 seasons in. I think it's very easy to see that we got Dosu, Makoku, and Bakayoko. Interesting that they went with this formation. Sane Shannon still gets into. Hector Fort's in, but people get in there. Apparently, we have had a pretty good time with it. Social medias have gone up quite significantly. We've got a couple more hardcore fans, and we've actually got 2% corporate now, which is great, and hopefully we continue there. They expect me to keep avoiding relegation from League 1. That needs to be updated. And then we've got in the season team meetings, etc., which I'll get done as well. Where's our training camp? We can go to the USA again. I will, because you sometimes get a big team that's over there too. But then let's talk about the squad here quickly. The squad itself, very good spot. If we go to the league table and then look at defensively, goals against, we did have the least goals conceded, 16 compared to PSG's 18. If we can do that again next year and limit these draws and have a couple more 1-0 wins, because there's definitely games here. Bordeaux, second last day of the season, dominated, did not win. Monaco were a better side away from home, did not win. Bordeaux again, 2-0 nils both times, should have beaten them, they finished 13th. Lille can forgive that. PSG can forgive that. The Troyes game we absolutely dominated and conceded and drew 1-1. And yet again, that's a game that we should win. You put a few of those results there together, we win the league. So it is what it is. But the thing I want to show you is actually the season preview. Because of how much the squad has grown, our best player is now Ingwes instead of Bakayoko or Makoko, which has been for many years because he's developed into that much of a monster. Secondly, they've now put us into a 4th place because they reckon we're that good. People may not know who Roman is. He's a guy that we've actually loaned out to QRM as a backup left wing back. Going to loan him out again next year. And then he might be the first of our regions that come through that might be good enough because he hits that potential. He's a decent League One footballer to actually sit on the bench and provide depth coming from the youth academy, which would be fantastic because we're going to have Cicello hopefully for the next 10 to 15 years. So this guy's going to sit as the backup for the remainder of that time. Let's talk about the squad and where the squad sits and how it looks. So that was the team that played on the final day. There is definitely going to be one change to that team, and it is going to be as followed. We're going to pick the team as what would be the best backup side that we've got there too. Might actually pick it as the best first 11 here quickly. And then, as you guys have seen in previous episodes, we're going to pick our best team, pick our best 11 off the bench, and then see what we can improve. And I think the one thing I really want to improve on is actually getting a squad, right, that when I look at my second team, it is as good a quality or has very good quality compared to my first team. And I feel like there still is a little bit of a gap in that sense as well. But let's go and see what we can do here. Now, I think the first big thing we're going to see is we actually don't have a recognised backup right back. And the reason why we don't have a recognised backup right back is because we sold Isaias. Pimbella came in the start, Tosin came in the start, and it was more the fact if there's an injury, like we did, we can play Ingwes, we can play Tosin there. We've got cover there that people can play right back. Mendy can play right back. Think if we're going to be as good as we want to be, we need to sign a right back. So I think that's going to be one of the things we're going to scout for is maybe a younger right back to come in and develop or, something along those lines. Maybe another experienced right back like Mendy, who's got a lot of experience too. You're then looking in the 6 and we sold Yuri. So straight away off the bat, you're looking, okay, Yuri could be it. There is a world where if maybe someone that was world-class comes up above the likes of a Marco Canna, we could maybe go for it, but there is a reason why we probably can't do that. Melbalai, we love him, he's fantastic. This is more of, and something I don't recommend that you do, this is more of a star rating play. His name is Luis Fernando. If you guys haven't seen him, we did sign him 15.5 million. He was one of our PSG and a couple of host of world-class clubs that are more reputable than us. Since coming out there in Brazil, has played over a 7. He's not played for Brazil. He's not played for Portugal, as he is also Portuguese, so he's not non-foreign. And he could be the next Ronaldo, considering it doesn't say Cristiano Ronaldo. That probably means he's going to be the next R9. I don't think at 23 you're going to hit that, but at 23, the beautiful thing about him coming in is that he will come in and develop strongly for the first 6 months to a year because he's playing in a much better division than in the Brazilian top flight. With that being said as well, if you do go to the season preview here, he's their best player, by the way, and you go to the season preview of the National Brazilian League, I'd like to say he comes part of the best 11 in the whole, as you can see, and is the 3rd best player in the league on reputation. So with that being said, I think we signed a player that was going to end up playing for Brazil at some stage and has the potential. We will say compared to Melbalai, and this is where you just look at Melbalai and go, this guy's so much of a freak. He's not that good. But when the goal is to make your bench as good as your first team, to have a guy that is cutting the mustard in the league and has got 7 goals in the last 2, 10 and 9 and 6 and over 7 since coming in. If this guy's coming off your bench to impact a game, or he's coming off your bench or starting in those rotation games, we're not going to lack creativity with those needle draws. We're going to have a very good player to have in that role. So I think that's a really good signing there too. Then leaves us obviously with another midfielder. His name is Milos Stupa. I'm very happy with Milos, of course, as well. Young kid, French, part of that. I think he could become homegrown and sit around. I think he's never going to want to be a first-team starter, but yet again, he has the potential to develop into a very usable backup player. If he hits 3-star, he's going to be decent. He's going to be good at League One to either decent or leading. Anywhere in that bracket, that's going to be good enough for me as well. And being on the younger side could develop as well. Then you've got the Bessett show, the Chevalier show, And at the moment, it's Coly. I don't want to let him go, but he only scored 4 goals this year. I know he played a lot of games off the bench and a few games wide. He's probably getting to that stage now at 29 that if a big bid comes in for him, we're probably going to look to probably maybe take it. There is a couple of strikers I have looked at that are really good and can impact a game as well, where if we do need to rest Mokoku, we can. But yeah, and then you look at the rest of the team and, going to try and sell. Has interest. Don't want to particularly sell because I do think Salama's really good. And maybe there's a case that we actually should loan out Mila Stupa. But we could see a world where Salama gets sold for, 18 mil. And considering we bought Fernandez, our transfer budget's only 8. We might need to look at doing that, or hope Papa Dieng gets sold, or something like that as well. Like Stuttgart wanting for transfer, we want Dieng to get sold because that would obviously be good money into the club. So stuff like that. That's kind of where we're looking. So in recap, we've got the attacking midfield already coming into the first team tick. We need a 6. We need a right back, maybe a backup striker, and we probably need to make a sale or 2. A lot of people want Bessett. I don't particularly want to sell Bessett, but if a team gives me 15 plus mil, I'm probably going to have to take it, and then we'll just buy another right winger, maybe a Frenchman as well, because we do love that. But yeah, that's where we kind of sit with the squad. So now to the scouting side of the episode. I do know these episodes do get a lot of likes. We will be scouting, showing you potential transfers and who we sort of look to scout, etc., using our our scouting methods. Which for people that do not know, we do this a lot, where we do go with the big old pick all your attributes in the 1736 method, and then look for people that are either world class or you regens as well, because anyone that comes up on this list, 15 stats, is probably world class. Maxime Carquet, very, very close to being world class, if not very good. So, straight away, people that come off this list, people that don't come on this list, and then obviously for the kids, we limit this down. But that's the methods we're going to use. Going to also look for, obviously, a few of the big leagues, see if there's any players that want to come to us. And let's see, off the very limited budget, even though we've got a lot of money in the balance, it's because they want to build a stadium. Let's see if we can find someone. And we'll be back in a second with some sort of scouting or transfer news. First bit of interesting news here isn't scouting YouTube. I've actually gone to try and request an affiliate because our affiliate club's in the amateurs and we never send players there because it's too low. They've actually given me the option finally, because I've been here a long while, to choose a club. I've gone to all the teams in the second division. Red Star, because they're in the third division. Red Star, I know they're getting promoted to the second division, might still take me on as an affiliate. And the reason why I've asked them is because they've got very good facilities. Now, I probably should have picked the club maybe with, let's say, a bit of a better... or staying in Division 3 maybe a bit longer, so we can really send some of the youngsters here. Without having a new team, I know what we're doing with the 19s is great, but I think for the really good little regens that do come out, we've got a couple that could really use good long loan spells. If Red Star say yes, we could definitely send them a couple of players, like Roman, who's out on loan at the moment. We've got another guy that's out on loan in the second division that got absolutely relegated back to the third division. If Red Star say yes to that, it's going to be a very good option. So that's your facility, that's your request affiliate. Don't really ever have to do this on FM. So if they say no, I don't know if I get another shot. If you do, if we do, I'm definitely going to look for a club that is going to be more of a traditional mid-table club that hasn't got relegated, but is okay, that still has decent facilities. And I think as long as they have good facilities, I'm happy to send my players there as well. Zeno is leaving here, YouTube, and as we come into a part where we talk about a couple of transfers, etc., do note I'm about to leave to go to the tennis, so now that the international is on, I am obviously dressed to go out, so don't judge with the hat around because I'm just wearing it before I go into the car. With that being said, Zeno is here. 4.4 mil is what we listed him up for. It's more because we actually had a million clubs wanting him and bids. In the end, he's choosing to go to Sassuolo for 2.3. We had a bid of 1.8 from Southampton that started all this off. And that meant we had to go and buy a centre-back. We haven't had one come in yet officially, but I am confident of getting one. Important to note, Mahil Levy, who our coaches reckon could be a decent League 2 footballer, is getting bids of upwards of 300k plus 50% sell-on fees. Don't ask me why. There's bidding wars across the whole of France for him. You will see there is a bid there for Coly. But if we have a look at all transfers, the guy I'm going after, and he's very interested in coming, is Musa Inakati. And even though a few years older, is a much better defender than Zeno. And when we're looking to make the second team as good as possible, Very similar in a lot of areas, but pace is massively different. Musa can get off the line and do great things, plus being very determined, plus having great natural fitness means that he's going to be very good and very powerful for many years to come, the Senegalese international. We'll also say he has played in the Premier League the last 2 years and have done okay at a Palace side that is in the Championship and got relegated, so getting a 6.8 in a relegated side is probably not too bad. Hopefully he joins. I'll definitely confirm that at a later date if he does join, which is great. And then we're going to go and have a bit of a talk about these two. Firstly, Coly. Got a bid here from Anderlecht for 11 mil. I think it's too good. I didn't want him to leave. I listed him back up now. I've listed him up now to try and see what happens. He's very consistent. I love him. Doesn't like a big game. And when you're trying to improve the second string squad, he's probably not the guy that's going to come in and change a game or start and be of the quality of the players around. Look, fantastic player on a free, absolute legend of the save. Have got him 2 French Cup finals. Have got him to play in the Champions League. This is a guy that we got from Goal FC on a free. He never cut the mustard and has come and got me all the way here. He's been here for ages. I rejected 13 mil when he was in his pomp scoring goals. So to get 11 after a season where he's only scored 4 goals, not too bad. It's all subject to if we get Beto. Now, Beto is a couple years older, but yet again, comparing him to Coly is much better of a footballer. Beto there in the green. He is fantastic in the air. He's got great amount of speed, similar speed to Coly, much more physical, better going forward. If you just have a look at the attributes, you can definitely see who the better footballer is. Beto coming from Juve, he's got headering, finishing. Mentally is just a touch better than Coly across the board. Then if you have a look at there physically, is a much, as much as speed's similar, is much better in the air, and has got much more strength and is 6'4". So, as a backup striker, he wants to come as an impact sub. 2 mil is what they want. I will say that Lyon have now gone in for him as well. So between me and Lyon and Leeds, he gets a choice. I've got an agreed backup impact striker role for him. If he comes in, he's perfect. Games where Mokoku's not having his best of game, I usually leave him on because it's Mokoku. We now got a guy that can sit up top. It's fantastic. I've also got a guy that in the bigger games, in the pressing forward role, we can actually start him and then use Mokoku as the super sub. Or lastly, and more importantly, in those games where we need to rest and rotate Mokoku because he plays basically every game, we got the option to. Or in the games where Mokoku gets a goal and we get him off at 45 minutes, this guy can come in and be as good as we can. As an advanced forward, looks still pretty decent, just doesn't have probably the dribbling ability, but I think in most games would bring him in as a pressing forward because I'd actually like playing with one. With that, that's what's going on here. I'll let you know and do a whole piece on Coly if he ends up selling, and hopefully Beto decides to come to me. Lastly, Papa Dieng got interest. Stuttgart and Rangers, if he goes to Stuttgart for any sort of money, we're going to get a big chunk of that as well because we've got 20 to 40% selling, whatever it is. And Red Star are officially our affiliate as well. It's time, and it's the worst time, I think, in saves as well. I don't particularly like selling big players in saves. We had historically the Shoe, who we kept for a long while. Pietro Pellegrini we kept for a long while, well past his means. Unfortunately, we're never going to get the opportunity here with Coly. Guy has transformed us from being are we going to be okay in League 2? Will we survive? Will be straight back down in the national team as a semi-professional football club? Instead, his 16 goals kept us up. He then went on and got us 30 goals and 32 to get us promoted as champions in League 2. And then we went and scored many a goal in League 1. He leaves us after playing 264 games for 130 goals. Is the only games that have been tallied up there, actually. No, I lie. There we go. Take 30 and 5 goals off that. He scored 125 goals for the club in league appearances, and he has obviously scored 240 games. I'll take that every day as well. It's been fantastic. As you can tell last year, Mokoku came in, he scored a few goals. It wasn't bad, but it was mostly first part of the year. Last year, you can tell he's not the sort of guy that is impactful enough off the bench. He's not bad, but he's the sort of guy you need to start. I'm going to miss him. For 11 mil, I can't say no. He's agreed a bit of money there with Anderlecht to go be the first team player. Bye-bye, Captain Fantastic. it is going to be a shame. Now, you might be thinking, Damien, have you definitely got your people on the in? Yes, we do. Musa in Kati has come in officially. Zeno has left. As you can tell, we've got a much better centre-back, I think, there at that sort of price. Still fantastic, still quick. Does like a little bit of acceleration, but still physically fantastic. And Beto has joined for 2 mil. So to pick up a guy that's better for 2 mil, that's only a couple years older, and on 44k a week, to then sell a guy that's on that is on currently 28k a week, but you're making 11 mil off. It's a shame. Marta, make a parting comment. You've been fantastic. He was unbelievable. I will admit that there's probably going to be some kickback in the dynamics because you lost your captain. We have big enough players to deal with this as well. It's about time we give the reins to someone else. I do have a couple players in mind. But yeah, look, he had to have his own little section. He's one of the... I hate selling icons of the save, but the fact we got him to play in the Champions League and the fact that we got him to win a couple of French Cups as captain, I can live with that. That he played a big part of this, and, you know, who knows? Maybe he'll come as a coach down the track because we're nowhere near beating PSG with him. Maybe without him, with the squad and the idea that we are building a better, stronger backup 11 shows that maybe we're heading down the right track. Important to note as well, we did actually get a bid rejected as well on Thiago Santos, I think, right back. There we go, Atletico Madrid. Yeah, was on a free from Barca, so we put it in. Atletico came in. He would have been perfect to bring in because I feel like that's the one spot we need someone. Unfortunately, chose to go to Atletico, which is fair enough. But I would have much loved him to come in too. That means that when you look at this group dynamics chart, what do we need? A defensive midfielder still, and a right back, either backup or non-backup. It does not, I don't know, we'll figure that out. But yeah, look, Tosello's got some interest. He doesn't want to stay, but he's got okay leadership. I don't know who I would exactly look to give captaincy to. Bakayoko's got only 7 leadership. You know, I don't think Makoku's much of a leader. It's a weird one because we're like, I don't know. It's one where we'll figure it out when we get to it. Maybe Dossi just steps up and becomes a natural leader with 13. Maybe. We'll see. I'll be back. 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Welcome into Deadline Day, YouTube. It is the 1st of September or the 31st of August. I'm pretty sure it's the 1st this year. And look, we've actually have made our last signing. It doesn't usually take me this long to make my final signing. I don't like Deadline Day, bringing players in on Deadline Day. I know it's exciting, etc. But I like having my team pre-season, knowing exactly how they work, and then off you go. I don't like being rushed. Important to note, we were looking for a right back or a world-class centre-back. And it was just... we found it hard to find one of note that wanted to come. There was a couple of guys like Livramento's available for 44 mil. Plus also being Portuguese means he's non-foreign. I do have 2 foreign spots. Would have snapped him up at right back. Didn't happen. There was a couple others there. We obviously missed out on the free signing of Thiago Santos, I think, at right back, which would have been superb. But look, then we've had on Deadline Day, Demiral come in and just be like, look, I want to leave Spurs. They want 4 mil. I offered 2.8 plus 50 after 50 games, about 4 mil. And they said, yes, he may never play 50 games for us. He only wants to come in as a squad player. I think this year he would start, and especially with the hard run that we've got in the Champions League. Not next episode, the episode after, because I have filmed the Trophy D Champions and I have filmed our start to the Champions League episode already. Feel like we needed a really good experienced centre-back or a really good right-back to come into the squad to make us more defensively solid. I think this guy is the case. Still an elite, powerful centre-back with 15 headering, great marking, great tackling, great mentals. The partner Tosin, the one thing I will say is they're getting a touch slow. They are getting a touch old. I'm not a big fan of signing too many older players, but the experience here is going to be huge. You know, he was at Atlanta, Juve formerly, and then has been at Spurs and played 24 games in the Premier League last year. So to bring him in as a squad option is pretty good. Just know he's on 100k a week. I'm going to show you guys now in terms of the squad, how A, I think will line up, but B, how big the wage is getting now, because we are pretty close to being over it. and the board really need to start understanding we need a bit more money in the football club. If you have a look here in terms of wage, and you sort by wage, he is the most expensive. Suselo, who's now our captain's dipped one below Makoku, makes you think that Ingwes probably should need a pay rise at some stage as well. But has not had any bids or anything, is due in 2035, so that is perfectly fine too. And then, yeah, that takes you into a squad that is very, 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 steady with that. If we have a look at the tactical side of it, it would be Ingwes out for Pembela, who's fantastic in this role. Do that because Ariola will make the bench, and Demirel would come in as a centre-back on defend. Obviously, we know if Tosin played ball playing, he would still be 4 stars, and if Demirel moved into one of those roles, he would be probably 4-star. But, 2 leading centre-backs in terms of what they do. 3-star, a good 3-star that's a little borderline 4-star are leading. So there we are. If you're looking at Tosin, still relatively quick at 15 and 14, which makes up for it. Demirel's more of I'm a big boy, let me do what I need to do sort of thing. And the boys are just there as well. We're actually going to move these 2 around because Tosin's got a better left peg. But there we go. That is your team for this season. There is a way where Chevalier comes in for Dosu, but, Ingwes goes back to right back. We know how well we can play there. Demirel and Tosin together is like a dream too if they were younger, but even at the elder side of it, French league's a little bit slower. It's great. So Celo's your new club captain. He's fantastic. Canna is playing out of his skin as a deep line playmaker. Ravella, Fernando will grow into a monster and is also playing quite well. Got Melbalai, who's playing out of his skin. Bakayoko, Dosu, and Makoku's already got 4 goals this year in 3 games. So we're in a pretty good spot. That is the team. That is the end of the scouting episode there, as well as we're just going to register him before I forget to. Demirel there, done, perfect. And look, we're going to hopefully see this squad. I'll be interested to see if he makes it into our preferred 11 here. Apparently doesn't, but the game may have not have updated. We'll hopefully see this squad go and challenge PSG for the title this year yet again. And with the hard run we got in the Champions League, still get out that group and make it to the first or second knockout round. Till then, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much for watching the scouting episode. I know the last 2 haven't been as much action because we've had a little bit less money and the squad's been in a really good spot. But till next time, thank you and goodbye.